Do you want to know how to grow your Pinterest account fast? Then stay tuned for my 10 best tips that have helped me grow my Pinterest followers to over 14,000 and how I get over 900,000 views every month in a tiny marketing niche. Hi there, I'm Katie of whatskatieupto.com and I'm a Swiss blogger and Pinterest expert. And today I want to teach you how you can grow your Pinterest account fast and get a ton of new customers to your website in no time. I show you my best 10 tips how I grew my Pinterest account to over 900,000 monthly views and 14,000 followers without being on all the time. And if you're new to Pinterest, make sure to grab your free guide on how to get 10 customers from Pinterest to your website in the next 10 days in the description below. So let's jump into way number 1, how I grow my Pinterest account fast. All right, so let's jump into tip number 1. If you want to grow fast on Pinterest, I recommend that you check out Pinterest Analytics and the Pinterest Trends Report. So I'm just here in the Analytics tab. You have this if you have a free Pinterest business account. And if you don't know how to set one up, I check out my video on how to start a free Pinterest business account here on top. Now, I'm just here in Analytics and Audience Insight, and these analytics show you the people who follow you and gives you an insight into everyone who uses Pinterest. So you can switch from the users you have, the subscribers, and all Pinterest users, and you even can compare those two audiences to see how your audience relates to other Pinterest users. Now you can see, for example, here age, gender, location, devices, but really interesting are interests here, so you can see exactly what my audience is interested in. You can even dive deeper if you click into a category, and then here on the right you see a deep dive into that specific interest. And you can also go into overview, and then here you have an overview of your Pinterest account analytics. So your top performing boards, your top performing pins, and this section is super interesting and important. And I will toggle here from impressions to link clicks because that's what you ultimately care about. And then you can go here and scroll your most successful pins and try to understand more about what resonates with your audience, and then replicate what you've learned in your audience insight in the link clicks so that you can really create content that people want to see. Now let's quickly head over here to trends.pinterest.com. This is the new trends tool by Pinterest itself. I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much. I spend a lot of time here. So seasonal trends are huge on Pinterest. So you can check out trends like, for example, Thanksgiving here, and you can, so let's type that in, for example, Thanksgiving, and then see how this is trending over the year on Pinterest. So you can see that basically after Thanksgiving, no one is basically searching for Thanksgiving throughout the year. And then you can see that in September here, it's slowly starting to pick up until you are here in October, November, where Thanksgiving is huge on Pinterest. So what I would use this graph for is to think about my content planning. So when am I going to create content about Thanksgiving? So I would actually go ahead and do that in probably July so that I can schedule it in August and put it out to Pinterest in August, because I can already see that in September the Thanksgiving topic is already starting to pick up steam. So you want to have your pins out here in September that are relevant for November. So this is how I would use this tool. It's super cool. You can also go ahead and compare different search terms. So you could go ahead and type in, for example, Christmas, and then you can see how Christmas relates to Thanksgiving. So both are huge on Pinterest, as you can see. If you compare it to something like, let's go for a vegan mac and cheese, which should be huge as well. But you can see this is actually a huge search term. I know that vegan mac and cheese is huge on Pinterest, but you can see that compared to Thanksgiving or Christmas themes, it's really not comparable. So both huge topics. So this tool is really really powerful. Okay, my tip number 2, if you want to grow your Pinterest account fast, is to be hyper-focused on your profile. Now, instead of covering like food, travel, finance, and blogging all together, only cover what's really relevant to your business. Because remember, this isn't your personal Pinterest account, this is your business Pinterest account. Now, your profile should include just what's relevant, so categories, niches, and sub-niches of your business. So think as your Pinterest business account as your storefront. Which topics can you think of that directly or indirectly relate to your business or help your brand? And I would also recommend that you have more niched down boards than one huge board that covers just like everything. So let's make an example. Let's say that you are a bakery and you're selling cupcakes and cakes. So instead of having just one board on cupcakes, you could create several boards on cupcakes, like chocolate cupcakes, vegan cupcakes, or maybe, for example, dog-friendly cupcakes. Now, if you're also selling bagels, instead of just creating one board on bagels, you could do a board on savory bagels and one on sweet bagels. And maybe also create a board that's broader, like picnic recipes, where you share your bagel or cupcake recipes. Now, Pinterest is all about how to inspire people and make their life off the platform better, and how can they use your products in real life. And I found this really good example here. You can go and check it out. It's Gourmet Goodies. And you can see that they're actually a physical store in Florida, and they are doing such an amazing job here on Pinterest. They have 6,000 followers. So even if you're a brick and mortar store, you can do so much on Pinterest. And you can see they basically focus on cakes. You can see character cakes, wedding cakes, Halloween themed cakes, Thanksgiving and fall cakes, christening cakes, custom cakes. And you don't see a travel board here, right? You see cakes and baking related boards that relate to their business, their cupcake and bake shop. All right, my tip has to do with consistency. And consistency is one of the most important factors in order to grow your Pinterest account fast. With consistency, I mean logging into Pinterest and posting on Pinterest on a regular, ideally daily basis. Now, people get overwhelmed with posting daily, and I get that. I would get overwhelmed too. And that's why a lot of services now focus on helping you manage your Pinterest account, such as Tailwind, which I'm logged in here. And I've talked about Tailwind before because I love them, and they're an official Pinterest partner, so no worries at all about using them. Now, Tailwind helps you automatically schedule and post pins to your Pinterest account. For example, if you create a couple of pins on a Wednesday evening and you schedule 50 pins to go out over the next 10 days, Tailwind will distribute them automatically and publish these 50 pins. So for example, 5 pins per day over the next 10 days, and you don't lift a finger. You just create your pins, upload them here into the scheduler, schedule them, and then they're going out to Pinterest automatically, consistently over the next couple of days. Now, I use Tailwind to post hundreds of pins over the month, and my Pinterest profile always ranges between 600,000 and 1 million views on Pinterest. So consistency is the key to growth on your Pinterest account. Now, I will link to Tailwind in the description box. If you want to check it out, you can start for free and test it out. Okay, tip number 4 has to do with relevant boards on your Pinterest profile. So if you're new to Pinterest, then I recommend you to create 10 new boards on your profile which are relevant to your niche. So let's make an example here. So if you're, for example, a vegan nutrition coach, you could, for example, create 10 boards such as vegan breakfast, vegan recipes, vegan lunches, vegan substitutes, vegan restaurants. You get the idea. Now, after creating 10 targeted niche boards, I would love you to fill each board up with your relevant pin. So in order to grow your Pinterest account fast, you need to have interesting pins on your profile and show everyone that you are taking your Pinterest account seriously. So having those pins on your profile that are targeted to your business will signal Pinterest that you are an expert in your niche, and it will increase your reach. So you will grow 100% faster if you attract the right people instead of just anyone who's just not interested in what you have to sell. Also, lately, the Pinterest Pinterest algorithm is focusing on fresh pins. I go into a lot of detail in one of my previous videos about that, but it just means that you should create your own content and your own pins and not fill up your boards with other people's pins. So you can see this is the Savory Vegan from thissavoryvegan.com, and you can see that all these pins with the pink here, these are all pins that she or he created themselves and not repins from other people. So I would say about 3 years ago, if you started a new Pinterest account, you would go ahead and create 10 boards and then fill them up with 50 pins of other people, so all repins, just to make your account look fuller. Now this doesn't work anymore. You should be focusing on your own content, your own fresh new pins, even if that means your boards only have maybe 5 pins to start with. It's still better to focus on your own content than just repinning random stuff that you find on Pinterest. All right, my tip number 4 has to do with board names. So in order for you to grow your Pinterest account fast, you need to help the Pinterest algorithm to know what your profile pins and boards are all about. So your board names are essential for that. You want to optimize your Pinterest board names with keywords. Now I've got an in-depth video on board names too that you can check out here. So in short, the algorithm reads your board name, so what you see here, to identify what your Pinterest profile is all about. Now if you are using floral or creative board names such as cute and funky, colorful vegan foods, then Pinterest will have a hard time knowing what your profile is all about. When it comes to your board names, it's better to go with easy to understand keywords and search terms. Ideally, you want to choose board names according to actual Pinterest searches. So what you do is go to the little loop sign here and you start typing in search terms such as vegan and then recipe, for example. And as you can see, Pinterest helps you now auto-complete your search results. So you can see vegan recipes healthy, vegan recipes dinner, vegan recipes desserts. And these are all search terms that people are actually looking for on Pinterest. So you don't see any floral names here because that's not what you would look for. You're being very specific when you're searching for something. So you want to name your boards according to actual search terms. Okay, my tip number 6 has to do with keywords. Now, keywords are one of the most important factors affecting the algorithm. Now, a keyword is a word or a short phrase, as I've just mentioned, that people are searching for on Pinterest. You can also think about yourself and what you type into Google. These are all keywords, and you want to use relevant keywords all over your Pinterest profile in order to help the Pinterest algorithm identify in which niche you're in. So think about keywords that best describe your niche and then go ahead and add them to the following places. So you want to add them to your profile name, so you can see it here, online marketing for small businesses and bloggers. You should add keywords in your description, so you can see I help small business owners build their website, set up a blog, and then I use Pinterest traffic to grow their revenue. So these are all keywords that I want to rank for on Pinterest. You also want to add your keywords to your board descriptions. This is a board about email marketing, so you are a blogger or business owner and you want to grow an email list and email subscribers and so on. So all of these, so email list, email subscribers, these are all keywords related to that board here. You also want to add your keywords into your pin description. So if I open up a pin and you scroll down here, you can see I've added a pin description. Here I've added another ton of keywords as well. Now, another one that a lot of people don't know about is this pin leads to my blog posts. You can see it here. So it's about opt-in ideas to grow your email list. And I've also added a ton of keywords into my blog post that relate to that board and relate to that pin. So that's super important as well. Okay, my tip number 7 is about hashtags. And hashtags are a great way to grow on Pinterest. So if we head into a pin here, you can see that on top of the description, you also have these hashtags here in the description. Now, once you post a pin to Pinterest, which includes includes hashtags, your pin will be distributed to hashtag searches first. Now, compared to the general Pinterest Smart Feed, where the most successful pins are shown first, hashtag searches are ordered in chronological order. So the newest pins first. So you can see that I just typed in mac and cheese recipe into the search function here. So this is the Smart Feed, and this Smart Feed shows the most successful pins first. Now, if I type in something like hashtag mac and cheese, this search compared to the other search shows the most recent pins first. Now, this means that your pins may not be shown in hashtag searches forever, but it will give you a great initial boost if you post a pin and a lot of people see it on the hashtag search. Now, in order for you to grow your Pinterest account fast, I recommend you to use a combination of hashtags, so for example 2 to 3 per pin, and a lot of keywords as well to rank in general search. All right, my next tip number 8, has to do with your Pinterest profile image. People want to connect to a real person or brand on Pinterest. And I'm not going to subscribe to some phony image that's obviously fake, stolen, or was taken by a first generation iPhone 10 years ago. But you want to have a friendly Pinterest profile image, because when someone searches for you, your profile picture shows up and you want to stand out, right? So I recommend using a high resolution image here of yourself or your brand where you smile. Now, if you're a brand, you can use a high resolution logo, just something that looks professional so people feel safe to subscribe. All right, we're on the home stretch. Tip number 9, and it's all about followers. Now, even though followers matters less on Pinterest than other social media networks, they do matter. So Pinterest distributes your new pins to your own audience first and sees how this pin resonates with your audience before showing it to new people on Pinterest that are not yet subscribed. So this ties into my tip number 2, why a niche is so important. When your profile is about everything, you attract people interested in all kinds of different things, right? Now, when you post a new pin, as you can imagine, it then only resonates to a small portion of your audience, and the pin won't perform so well. So Pinterest looks, for example, at how many repins you got, how many clicks and views you got onto that pin, which will indicate Pinterest how relevant this pin is. This is why niching down is so important. The more niched down you are, the likelier it is that most of your audience is interested in what you have to say. Then your pins will resonate a lot better with your followers. Pinterest will see, oh, that's a great pin. Let's show it to other people that are not yet following you. For me, that makes total sense, but it's a little bit complicated. But the bottom line is your follower amount doesn't necessarily determine your success on Pinterest, but how engaged your followers are does matter a lot. Okay, my last tip has to do with Tailwind communities, formerly also known as Tailwind tribes. This is a separate function Tailwind, so my Pinterest scheduler, offers to share your new pins to fellow pinners. Now, the idea is that you join relevant communities here inside of Tailwind, where you can pin your pins to the community, and they will share your pins to their account on Pinterest. In return, you share their pins to Pinterest too, giving each other a boost on Pinterest. It's a pretty cool concept because especially when you start out and you have a big pinner pin your pin to their account, you could potentially grow massively overnight. So you can see that I'm here in, for example, the blogging success community, and you can see these are all pins that I could go ahead and share on my account. So these are all the community members' pins, and you can see if I go into yours, you can see that a lot of people also share my pins that I shared inside of the community. So you can see it here. So for example, this pin got shared 7 times, this pin got shared 6 times, and I do have pins that got shared 50 or 100 times. So it's really effective, and you can go ahead and check out Tailwind communities inside of Tailwind as well. Okay, this was it. These were my 10 ways to grow your Pinterest account fast. And yep, these are the exact things that have helped me grow my following on Pinterest to over 14,000 and 900,000 views on Pinterest too. So they work. Now that's it from me for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell button below. I post a new video about Pinterest every Tuesday. I love you loads and wish you a great week. Talk to you soon. Tschüss!